Prague at the 1999 European Figure Skating Championships. Down on the ice, the warm-ups are continuing in anticipation of the start of the pairs program, with one notable exception. Welcome back. I'm Bob Varsha, along with Judy Blumberg and Christopher Bowman. There is one pair not down on the ice. They were the leaders after the short program with a phenomenal skate, reigning European and world champions Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikharulidze of Russia. Judy, it must be a crushing disappointment to them not to be able to skate because Elena contracted the flu and is not well.
I'm sure they are very upset not to be able to compete here in Prague. However, they know the most important event are the World Championships in Helsinki in March. That's the competition they want to be very healthy for. I must tell you, though, I am so impressed with the depth of the Russian team. There is a team here who beat former world champions Eltsova and Bushkov at their Russian nationals and earned a place for the Europeans. They are Petrova and Tikhonev. They are strong, they are young, they just paired up in July, and boy, they are the one to watch here and in the future.
We'll see them in action a little later on after we show you the superb short program by Berezhnaya and Sikharulidze. Christopher, let's look ahead to the men's competition coming up later in the program. How do you like Alexei Urmanov's chances of reclaiming his European title?
Well, certainly Urmanov, an Olympic gold medalist, cannot be counted out of any event. Now, it's going to be tough for him to go jump for jump or head-to-head with Alexei Yagudin. Urmanov has been off for 1 year due to a very serious groin injury. In that year's time, Alexei Yagudin went on to become a world champion. He's not going to be able to skate at level par with Yagudin. In the judges' eyes, I feel he's really going to have to be at least 15% better than Yagudin's best to overtake him here in this championship.
Men will be coming up later on. After a break, we'll be back for our only look at the reigning world pairs champions, Berezhnaya and Sikharulidze, in action. Their short program in just a moment.
And much more pleasurable. Welcome back inside the Prague Sports Hall at the 1999 European Championships. Bob Varsha, Judy Blumberg, and Christopher Bowman with you. Earlier we mentioned that our reigning European and World Pairs champions, Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikharulidze of Russia, were forced to withdraw following the short program when she became ill. We'd like to share that short program with you now to the music of violinist Vanessa May.
Those elements that is now required in the short is a throw, and this throw triple, which she executes so confidently, is going to be the dividing line between the teams that are at the top and those that just miss. Extremely powerful, very refined, and I love the subtle touches that they've given this choreography as far as the arm movements and the work with Vanessa May's music instead of against it.
champions in 1998 and leaders after the short program here at the European Championships. But Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sikharulidze will not skate in the final portion of our competition. That leaves the door open for the rest of the pairs. We'll find out who will skate through it when we return. Prague at the European Figure Skating Championships. The warm-up just about completed as we prepare for the free program in the pairs competition. Here's a look at the standings after the short program. Berezhnaya and Sikharulidze were the leaders, but they will not skate due to illness. That leaves an opening for those who follow. And first on the ice, making their debut in these European Championships, Maria Petrova and Alexei Tikhonov of Russia. They will skate to the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. Has only been together since July, but they finished second at the Russian National Championships.
And it's with easy side-by-side triples like that that they're second in the nation. Magnificent split triple twist. She really got nice height, a nice complete landing on that. What's interesting about this team is that Alexei has already done some professional skating, but decided to become an eligible competitor again so he could skate with Maria.
She, in turn, was winning 2 World Junior Championships with her former partner, none other than Anton Sikharulidze. One thing you notice immediately about the pairs is the physical size difference between the male and female skaters. Unlike ice dancing, where they don't do the big lifts and throws, the women in pairs competition are much more petite for obvious reasons.
Some rather interesting positions in the air. It's a team like this that can come out and present us with something that may be a little bit off center, but if they skate it well, it'll really work because we have no expectations. I feel like they're very well matched, especially only being together since July. I mean, this is something that takes years, and they are very seasoned for a new couple. And she's very solid on those landings. Little slow on the exit of that lift, but quite an interesting lift. Here's where one of the weaknesses shows up. They can't quite keep that unison going in those side-by-side spins.
Judy. You would think that they would be able to do that with just their sheer strength alone and their determination. They both look like stronger individuals than Elena and Anton, but just lack that polish. Where are they going to go from here?
They'll go up from here, especially with time together. You need to spend time spinning together, stroking together, so that the movement becomes one.
An auspicious debut performance for Maria Petrova and Alexei Tikhonov of Russia.
I found their presence in this competition very exciting. New faces, new tricky moves, and I think it's very exciting to watch them work.
Here you're taking a look at a great throw, triple Salchow. Now watch this. She's going to make eye contact with the ice and then right at the partner. An equally difficult balancing technique.
And I like the change of positions in this tap lift. She has a nice shape and then goes right into a tuck position. Could have finished it a little bit more, but I like the variation on the ending.
I wonder if the pressure is greater or less in the absence of Berezhnaya and Sikharulidze. Scores from a 5-5 to a 5-7 for technical merit. That draws a bit of a shrug from Alexei. Now we will check the presentation scores. A low of 5-4 from the German judge, but 3 5-8s.
What I think about those scores is that the judges realize this package is just coming together. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Just 5th after the short program, but that is likely to move them up. Welcome back to the European Figure Skating Championships. Now on the ice, second after the short program with a great opportunity here. This is Sarah Abitbol and Stéphane Bernardi of France. Six-time French national champions. They found themselves in an interesting situation this year. In the French Championships, they were the only pairs entries.
They have a great presence on the ice. They have energy, they have power. They remind me a lot of Peter and Kitty Carruthers because they're bouncy and they really go for it.
She is just 4 feet 9 inches tall, 94 pounds. He is 5'8", but he looks like a giant next to her. And they get tremendous height on their throws.
That triple toe loop almost got away from her, Judy. She's very strong.
They are one of the few teams in the world to have completed a throw triple axel in practice.
Skate to the tune Acropolis by Yanni. Oh, and a problem for him there.
Might be a problem because he is sick. Stéphane is sick. The French Federation refused their withdrawal. There was no choice but to skate. That's a great variation on a lift. To bring her from all the way down there to all the way up above his shoulders. That's very difficult. Tremendous strength is required.
This pair won the bronze medal at these European Championships back in 1996, ending a 64-year drought for French pair skaters.
Lean forward on the landing of that throw. We call that a car. It's more often than not a play move when you play on the ice. Lots of kids do that move.
talking about moves and talking about illness, Judy, it scares me to think what the potential for danger is when you're not feeling your best, and that's your foundation, something that needs to be solid and 100% underneath you.
Well, as I watch Stefan, he doesn't seem to be weak in the lifts. It's his own strength. Maybe he's nauseous, but as of yet, I haven't seen a real residual of him being sick. Stefan had the one slight bobble on the jump at the beginning, and maybe the presentation's a little bit lacking, but they are skating fairly strong.
Sarah Abitbol and Stéphane Bernardi of France. See whether they can move up and take over the lead. Quest for their first ever gold medal at these European Championships. We'll be back with their scores in just a moment. Stay with us. For Sarah Abitbol and Stéphane Bernardi. Low of 5.4 and a high of 5.7 in the technical merit scores. That might put them right in the ballpark with our leaders, Petrova and Tikhonov. Here are the presentation scores. Another 5.4 from the U.S. judge, and a high of 5.8 from the judge from their native France. So we'll see how things shake out. Now on the ice, preparing for their free skate, Dorota Zagorska and Mariusz Szudek from Poland. Skating to Symphony Number 9, the New World Symphony by Anton Dvorak.
Wow, what a wide open throw. Her air position was amazing.
Now this team, even though well matched, she's a little bit weaker than some of the other girls. He's very strong. They're known for their speed.
And look at this split triple twist. What an easy set down. No contact with his upper body except for the catch.
And here's where I'm talking about the weakness. The double axel just fell apart. He's very strong, can do it out of almost brute strength. She has to rely on a little bit better technique. These kinds of small mistakes add up.
We mentioned that Abitbol and Bernardi were the only senior team competing at the French Nationals. Zagorska and Szudek are the only senior pairs team in Poland. Thus, they are the four-time national champions.
Now there, Judy, he's not really sitting down all the way on the back sit spin. probably has a lot to do with being too strong and not as flexible as an Anton Sikharulidze.
But strength sure shows up here in this one-leg flip-over lift.
This pair trains in a rink built in 1946 in a town in Poland not often associated with such positive images, Auschwitz.
They really are very terrific individuals. I met them last year in the Champions Series. Had a chance to talk to them. Very, very nice. Very dedicated and hardworking. They may very well be the first Polish team ever to be on the podium in a World Championship.
I think the United States has come into play in a big way, and especially the pair skating, because we have opened up our doors to some of the best teams in the world. That was a great throw, triple sow. They train sometimes in Chicago. The Russian teams train in Hackensack, New Jersey. So our country should be very proud of the facilities that we have that make it possible for some of these teams to be great.
Great lift. And just touches down light as a feather. And Judy, it's teams like this that can find their way in the back door of a lot of major championships and do some real upsetting. They are very, very dedicated. There's not a lot of stereotype or expectation, like with the Russian teams, to look a certain way, to act and skate a certain way. They can just be themselves, have fun, and be successful. I really enjoy them.
Dorota Zagorska and Mariusz Szudek of Poland. Fourth after the short program. They have a shot at a medal here in Prague. We'll be back with their scores. We are back in Prague as Dorota Zagorska and Mariusz Szudek of Poland step off the ice, bidding for their first ever medal at these European Championships. Another look.
And it's unique entrances like this tap into the flip-up of the lift that's going to help them medal at a European or Worlds. It's not just a normal takeoff. So all those little adaptations and interesting things in lifts will really help them.
They become the trademarks that the judges will look for. Technical merit scores, a low of 5.4, a high of 5.7. That makes the crowd unhappy here at the Prague Sports Hall. Now we'll check the presentation scores, which could make all the difference for them. Another 5.4 from the German judge, and a couple of 5.7s. After crunching the numbers, it will not be enough to move them to the gold medal position, but it will give them the silver, the first ever medal for this Polish pair in these European Championships. And in the absence of our first round leaders, Berezhnaya and Sikharulidze, due to illness, the gold medal goes to Maria Petrova and Alexei Tikhonov as they continue their run of success in their first season together. Silver to Zagorska and Szudek, and the bronze to the French pair of Sarah Abitbol and Stefan Bernardin.
This is Prague, Czechoslovakia, just about 150 miles northwest of Vienna, but a world away in politics because here we're behind the Iron Curtain. And here on Paris Street are the people of Prague, as curious about us, apparently, as we are about them.
In 1962, ABC's Wide World of Sports traveled to Czechoslovakia for the World Figure Skating Championships, an historic event in the sport of figure skating, starting with the first triple Lutz in world competition by Canadian Donald Jackson.
It's beautiful! He made it! Triple Lutz! It's fantastic! Now watch this one coming up. It's a double axel.
There she stands, the new women's champion of the world, Sjoukje Dijkstra of Holland. And Don Jackson is the new world champion. We will not soon forget Prague, Czechoslovakia.
37 years later, Alexei Yagudin, the world champion, heads a strong Russian team, including Alexei Urmanov, the '94 Olympic champ, who overcame the fall in qualifying to lead after the short program, and teammate Yevgeny Plushenko, a master of the quad. Today, the best of Europe have gathered in the Golden City. And welcome everyone to the 1999 European Figure Skating Championships. Ancient Prague Castle for 1,100 years, sitting high atop the Charles Bridge and the river Vltava, which runs right through the center of town. And that's where we are, inside the Prague Sports Hall. Hi everybody, I'm Terry Gannon. For well over 100 years, the European Figure Skating Championships have played a critical role in the figure skating calendar. Today we'll bring you our coverage of the men's competition. Then next Saturday, beginning at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, here on ABC, we'll see a ladies champion being crowned. Well, throughout the years, Prague has also played a critical role in figure skating. In fact, let's take you back to 1948 and a young Dick Button becoming the only American to ever win the European crown. They said no more Americans after Dick skated here. Then, right here in this very building in 1962, Dick made his ABC debut along with Jim McKay at the World Championships. I can't see a thing that's changed since 1962.
Well, I'm very glad you have wonderful eyesight.
I haven't noticed a thing. Well, I know the 62 championships, though, very memorable.
Forgive me for waxing a little nostalgic about them. They were originally scheduled for 1961. The plane coming here with the American team, its coaches and its judges and its families and its friends crashed, killing everybody. The championship was canceled, rescheduled for 1962, and it almost seemed as though everybody was trying extra hard that year to create a memorable event. It was.
Well, now 37 years later, you look back to last year, the Russians swept every discipline at the European Championships, and the men's free skate about to begin. It's a Russian team competition here, too.
Well, that's because all three of the top Russian men are extraordinary skaters. An Olympic champion, a world champion, and a young Turk who is just outstanding. They are really fabulous, and I think you'll see why they're at the top of the heap.
The three Russians atop the leaderboard heading into the free skate, well-known, three of the best in the world. '94 Olympic champion Alexei Urmanov in the lead ahead of Yevgeny Plushenko, the recent winner of the Russian Nationals, and then Alexei Yagudin trying to defend his European title. Now this season, beginning with this competition, the scores are weighted differently. The qualifying round counts for 20%, the short program 30%, and the free skate worth 50% of the overall score. And up first, the always entertaining Laurent Telbel of France, with Philippe Candeloro now off in the professional ranks. Telbel now the reigning French national champion. He is in 8th place heading into the free skate.
Remember, this guy is 6 feet 2 inches. Unusually tall for a skater. Oh, what a nice combination for him to open with. He's had trouble with those jumps, and it's good to see him making headway in landing them. He really has a sense of movement and a sense of position. Bizarre, offbeat, unusual, and always entertaining.
Somehow the music from the Pink Panther does fit Laurent Tobel. And he has said that he is much more interested in entertaining the audience and the artistic quality of his skating, and the jumps really don't inspire him.
Now, a sit spin like that should have been much lower and would have been far more dramatic had he been able to complete the position. But right here, you see the essence of this guy. Triple loop jump. Triple flip. Triple toe loop. You know, his jumps are so much better than they have been in the last year. The fact that he's landing them with consistency now is such a tribute to the development he's made. Got a wonderful sense of humor. You know, it's kind of hard to know how to judge this young man. I think he treats himself with a great deal of humor, doesn't take himself seriously, needs to work on his technique still more, but is coming a long way. It's just nice to see him develop.
Laurent Tobel of France in 8th place, looking to move into the top 5 perhaps. Back inside the Prague Sports Hall, Laurent Tobel of France, along with his coaches Annick Gallagher and Pierre Tron. First set of marks for technical merit, 5.2 to 5.5. And now the second set, a wider range, 5.1 up to 5.7, and Laurent Tobel certainly happy with those. Only 16 years of age, but now the reigning Russian national champion, and in second place heading into this free skate. Here is Yevgeny Plushenko.
The music, Chronologie and Zukolog. The music, Chronologie and Zulokologie by Jean-Michel Jarre. And he's one of the few skaters that has a good consistency with a quadruple, which he will try, I believe, right here. Here it is. A quadruple toe loop with a toe loop afterwards. Beautiful combination.
And he just laid down the gauntlet.
Now this combination, a triple axel, triple toe loop, only a 16-year-old can do these with such impunity. Look at that. Oh, what wonderful revolution that was in the air. That was as tight and as fast as I have ever seen. Triple loop. Oh, now that's a classic mistake. A classic mistake where he went so far over on the edge of his foot that he hit the boot. He will never ever do a triple jump, a triple loop jump again without remembering that fall.
Plushenko, who comes from a poor background, originally from the city of Volgograd in Russia. When he was 11, they closed the rink. He had to move to St. Petersburg with his mother, left his father behind to train.
Triple axel again. Now you see I guess this is one of those performances where you have all the enthusiasm and the excitement and the energy of being 16 and realize for the first time that you can make mistakes. Look at this one off again. Oh, and what a start he had. The circular footwork. You can see here that he has flair and a showmanship. Catch foot position, and on top of that, he's very flexible. Did you see how he turned in the air? How off-angled he was. Triple Salchow. Half loop, and there's the triple loop that he fell on before. Now that was not scheduled for the program, but he threw it in. This is the Bielman spin. Straight line footwork. Enthusiastic, but sort of out of control here. That not a very successful step. Final combination. Catch foot again. Well, what an interesting program. This young man was, to say the least, all over the lot. He was brilliant and he was awful. He had flair and he lacked flair. It was what a classic performance. What a classic performance for a 16-year-old who wants to do the best, goes out to show everybody that he can do the best, and makes terrible mistakes he'll never forget for the rest of his life.
Yevgeny Plushenko, the young Russian, even when he made mistakes, they were exciting ones. What do the judges do with that?
Now, look at this quad. Right there, quadruple toe loop. Straight line body, beautifully controlled, stepping right into that triple toe loop afterwards. That was just marvelous. Absolutely first rate. But watch the edge here. Out! It goes. He's leaning over on his boot. He misses it. I've got to tell you, I did it myself. It wrenches your heart. It wrenches your heart. And in this final one, we see him stepping into this triple axel. Beautiful classic line, but right there, he can't hold the edge. Leans forward, doesn't check the landing, and misses. Ay, ay, ay.
Anyone who can get Dick Button that excited about his performance, falls or no falls, that's all right.
Well, I just have to tell you, I know exactly what is going through, and his heart is, his heart is in his mouth right now. To have made those kind of mistakes.
Here are the marks now, Dick. Technical merit, 5.7s and 5.8s.
Well, he's clearly in first place so far. I mean, the quality of skating was just extraordinary.
A wide range for presentation, though. 5.4 all the way up to 5.8. Yevgeny Plushenko. Those are the scores the others are going to have to match. BC Sports. And here is Alexei Yagudin, 18 years of age, in third place, heading into the free skate. And, of course, the reigning world and European champion.
Like Plushenko, he is an extraordinary athlete. His opening move, a triple axel. Played that very conservatively, which shows the maturity that he has, that Plushenko is just learning.
Now, Plushenko landed the quad and in combination, although he had mistakes later on. This is where Alexei Yagudin's quad would come if he tries it.
It'll be a quadruple toe loop. Very nice. Beautiful move. Beautiful move.
Dick, we're not only seeing the top Russian men, the top men at the European Championships, but these are the top men in the world. Certainly be a factor in Helsinki at the World Championships.
Another triple axel, triple toe loop. Interesting that he changed the placing of that from the earlier part of the program till he felt the security. This is a great deal of maturity in this young man. He has grown up over the last year. The music, Lawrence of Arabia.
Plenty of subplots with this Russian trio. Yagudin, formerly coached by Alexei Mishin, the coach of Urmanov and Plushenko. Not much love lost between Yagudin and Plushenko either.
combination of a triple Lutz. A little awkward, not a combination, a plain triple Lutz. The landing not as graceful as it could have been, not as stylish. A wonderful jumper. This, a Salchow. Again, a struggle on the landing. He did not need that to deflect from the quality of the program at this point. Now you see, despite the arm pumping here at the end, he did a lot of wonderful moves, but the quality of the skating was not as good as Plushenko's. Plushenko made major errors, which I think will keep him down. But the quality of skating here was not as fine, was not as sharp, was not as crisp. But of course, he completed all the jumps, and therein lies the difference.
It won't be easy for the judges, but Alexei Yagudin trying to move up from 3rd place and defend his European title.
Now, look at this quadruple toe loop. Watch him turn, step, reach back, toe pick, and do the 4 revolutions. Very nice. Leaning over slightly on the landing, but what a clean jump. Did not have the same style and position of Plushenko, but gosh, that was brilliant. And look at this, triple axel right there. Right there. Very nice. Now that better position on the landing and a wonderful combination.
9, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 8.
Alexei with his coach Tatiana Tarasova finished in 2nd place right behind Plushenko at the Russian Nationals. First set of marks, 5.7 up to 5.9.
Yes, he's going to win this in comparison to Plushenko without any doubt.
5.8s and 5.9s for presentation, and that is enough to place Yagudin ahead of Yevgeny Plushenko. And here are the top 3 as it stands right now. Yagudin and Plushenko, the 2 Russians on top, then Laurent Tobel, the Frenchman, in 3rd. But it's the leader after the short program, Alexei Urmanov, who controls his own destiny. It's his title to win or lose as he takes the ice.
Now he has a far greater amount of experience and maturity. What he doesn't have is that vim and vigor of being 16 years old and fearless. He too is a fine jumper. We'll see if he plans the quadruple toe loop right here. Nope, flip. He had no intention of doing a quadruple there.
May not feel that he needs it. He said he stayed in St. Petersburg after finishing 3rd at the Russian Nationals to work on the quad.
Nice triple axel and off balance triple toe loop. Urmanov pulled a groin muscle, one of the most debilitating injuries that a skater can suffer. He is only now coming back from that injury after really almost 2 years struggling to gain his flexibility.
Had that injury at the 97 World Championships. That was after he won the European title in 97.
That's the same injury that Elba Stoico has suffered. And you're a very lucky skater if you can recoup and return to your fullest ability after that injury.
And most try to rush back.
Nice triple Lutz jump. Triple loop jump. You notice how he goes up in the air straight, leans out of the circle, and then seems to be able to recover it and hold on to it on the landing. Many of his jumps start straight and then lean in the air. There's a triple toe loop. That one, as nice as they come. His final triple combination, this Salchow first, a double. And that was supposed to have been another one, but again you saw him off balance in the air. That was not a good move for the end of this program. A program that became very lackadaisical at the end. It did not have the spark or the zing that he has had. I am convinced that he too has not recovered from that groin injury.
And he was trying to send a signal that he had fully recovered and he was all the way back, but Urmanov clearly disappointed.
Now watch how straight he is right here, and how he'll step up as the arms reach back, lift into the air. Good, but already you can see just a slight out-leaning, and there it is even more in that a triple toe loop on the end, and that's some of the problems he has. Now watch here as he steps into this triple axel. Again, watch right there, the body leaning out, and of course that upsets the landing and destroys the jump.
It's been a good year for Urmanov, including a win in a Grand Prix event. Now the first set of marks for his free skate, 5.4 up to 5.6.
Yes, so there, I mean, he's down, and it was inevitable. It was just not a good performance, and he was unable to maintain the excitement and the zing of it, as Plushenko did, despite his mistakes.
Thank you. Running backdrop for the 1999 European Figure Skating Championships. I'm Bob Varsha, along with Judy Blumberg and Christopher Bowman. Our venue is the historic Prague Sports Hall, built to host the 1962 World Figure Skating Championships. The Worlds also visited in 1993. Tonight it's the European Championships, and we begin with the ice dance. Here are the standings after the original dance. Leading are Angelika Krylova and Oleg Ovsyannikov of Russia. Second, Marina Anisina and Gwendal Pizarat of France. And now on the ice, our leaders after the original dance, Olympic silver medalists at Nagano, Angelika Krylova and Oleg Ovsyannikov. And listen to this music.
And what a departure this music is from the pieces that Krylova, Ovsyannikov have done in the past. They've done Masquerade Waltz, and last year it was Carmen. What's wild is that this piece reminds me of the piece that the Duchesnes of France did in the 1988 Olympics in Calgary. It created a lot of controversy, and in fact, these costumes in that starting position reminded me of that piece.
It's been quite a year for this couple since the 1998 World Championships, which they won. They've won virtually every competition they have entered since then.
This year, there are requirements such as a step sequence with various holds. Every team must do a footwork sequence in circular or straight line formation.
We also have a new judging system in place. This is the first major international championship using the new one-by-one scoring system. We'll talk more about that later.
The Duchesne's piece was very serious in nature. It was a fight for their lives. This isn't so serious, but it is very similar to me in the feeling with the music and the costumes.
Judy, it is great dance art, but as I remember Isabel and Paul's number, there was a lot more emphasis placed on his physicality. I don't see that coming from him right now. What do you think about that?
Well, when Isabel and Paul skated, Paul was given a lot of the difficulty. He did some of the more adventurous moves, and I find they're doing a lot more two-foot skating, and not that much difficulty is incorporated into the choreography. It moves well, but these are the kind of steps you can move out on. I think they're both incredible skaters, and I think maybe that's something they should look at before they take this program to the Worlds. This is that circular footwork sequence that is required in the program. They'll change in various dance holds. Bob and Chris, I'm all for going out and doing something different. However, I'm not sure this cuts it this year as far as their style.
It is different. To a number without melody whatsoever. Krylova and Ovsyannikov, leaders after the original dance, have made their final statement for gold at these European Championships. One of 6 teams brought here by 1980 Olympic champions and now coaches Natalia Linichuk and Gennady Karponosov. Let's take another look at the performance of Krylova and Ovsyannikov.
You can see they have great power, but what we see are crossovers from him, two-footing, and not such an interesting position. Again, they have great speed, but I think they can work a little with the choreography to make it a little more intricate.
Two-time runners-up in this competition to the now departed and disbanded team of Grishuk and Platov. Here are the scores for technical merit. From a 5.6, the low, to a high of 5.8, and a number of 5.8s there. Now the artistic impression scores. From a low of 5.7 from the Ukrainian judge to a high of 5.9. And when the other couples have skated, these scores will be compared by judge. Back in Prague, continuing with the free dance portion of the ice dancing competition at these European Championships. Here are the second place team after the original dance. 4-time French national champions, Olympic and European bronze medalists, and World Championship silver medalists, Marina Anisina and Gwendal Pizarrat.
This year is taking the theme a bit further. They're skating to Man in the Iron Mask, the soundtrack. Last year it was Romeo and Juliet. In which the man rotates, or the position of the partner that is lifted turns and changes.
This team, too, has had a terrific year. They won the Skate America competition, the Trophy La Ligue, and the NHK competition.
This is a case where the man has rotated. They are always innovative with their lifts, always bringing a little something different to the ice. Last year, you'll remember that they're known for their dramatic flair, and they're not disappointing here.
Judy, I really enjoy them for their physicality of really pushing the envelope with the difficult physical moves, something that I'm looking forward to seeing more of from Krylova and Ovsyannikov.
And this is what they do. They give you moves that are unexpected. We do expect those kind of tricks for them now, where she lifts him. They did it last year. I expect them to be a little more developed.
On a ice dance level, Judy, how does it measure up?
For me, this program is very strong. It has fast movement, tricky steps like this whole circular sequence. Both of them are doing the difficult steps. They're moving it along. Lots of various dance holds. And this isn't so much a departure for them, Chris, as it is a growth in trying to develop something that's a little more intricate, a little more involved.
They are an interesting team. She, a second-generation skating competitor. Her mother skated in the Olympics in 1972 in Sapporo, Japan. Her father skated with the Russian national ice hockey team for many years. He holds 4 degrees from the Troyes University in Lyon, France. Last year's Champions Series final, they were awarded their first ever perfect 6 score.
In comparing them with Ovsyannikov, Krylova, I was much more involved in their performance and felt more emotional impact and power.
Well, these scores should be interesting, and the new scoring system could well come into play here, as it will depend on how each individual judge rates them versus the performance of our leaders coming into this final round, Krylova and Ovsyannikov.
The power that Anisina and Pizarrat have is obvious. They have great speed into their tricks, into their footwork, and especially this move, where the speed really helps her assist him in this lift. Now, usually as a team, you come in with moves that are very well known, and you'd be foolish not to put them in your programs each year with a little change here and there. They come into these championships being very well known for her lifting him. Teams just don't do these kind of moves. He has tremendous flexibility. They sustain the lift, which is really quite powerful.
And now we'll see how the judges enjoyed it. Technical merit scores from a low of 5.6 from the Canadian judge to a high of 5.9 from the Austrian. And now artistic impression to a chorus of whistles and other derogatory remarks from the crowd. From 5.7 to 5.9. It will be very, very close between Anasina and Pizorat and Krylova. Back in the Prague Sports Hall, we continue with the free dance portion of ice dancing at these European Figure Skating Championships. Up now from Russia, Irina Lobachova and Ilya Averbuk. Couple stands third after the original dance portion of the competition. He is a former two-time world junior champion skating with Marina Anasina, whom we just saw compete with her partner, Wendell Pizorat.
Irina and Ilya have also chosen a departure from last year. They did Jesus Christ Superstar last year. And this year it's quite different. Nice circular footwork sequence. Has good turning that goes both outside the circle and into the inside of the circle.
Differences between ice dance and pair skating is the near constant contact between the skaters.
And in this case, there should be constant contact. They are married, but it's more with the choreography, Bob. They work to the music. They don't try for the athletic tricks so much as something that suits the music, is lyrical, and suits what they do with one another. It has to fit their lines, their style. A spin that is face-to-face is required in the free dance. I'm not sure where this piece is going, but it's steps like these that really can bring the program alive because they're difficult, they're effective, and they really get an audience and the judges.
This could be a new personal best performance for this team. They're in medal position right now. They have never won a medal at the European, World, or Olympic Championships.
Very effective diagonal footwork sequence. Both of them turning and both of them doing opposite steps.
Irina Lobacheva and Ilya Averbuk of Russia. Another of the teams coached by Linichuk and Karpanasov, who have all three Russian teams in this competition, plus a Ukrainian team, a Polish team, and an Israeli team.
That's where I think the problem may lie, Bob. I think that they need maybe a little more attention and focus and guidance as they approach the Worlds to try to gain a medal. She has a lovely look with her husband. Great position in this lift. Nice open free leg, pointed toe, a little rough on that landing.
The result of 4.5 hours a day on ice at the University of Delaware, where they train under the tutelage of those two people on the right, Linichuk and Karpanasov. Technical merit scores from a low of 5.5 from the Canadian judge again to a high of 5.8. Artistic impression scores from a 5.6 to a 5.9. And that will be enough to keep them in position to win their first medal in the European Championships. Final results of the ice dance: Krylova and Ovsyannikov the gold, Anasina and Pisarat of France a very close second for the silver, and the bronze to Lobacheva and Averbuk of Russia in third.
Everyone, I'm Bob Varsha, along with ESPN figure skating analysts and former national champions Judy Blumberg and Christopher Bowman. As we mentioned earlier, these championships will go into the record books, not only for what's happening on the ice, but also for the introduction of a new method of placing the skaters in the final standings. It's known as one-by-one scoring. And Judy, we've already seen its impact in the ice dance competition.
Well, that's right, Bob. But you know, tinkering with the scoring is nothing new in figure skating. They seem to do it with great frequency. This time, it had great effect on the top two ice dance teams. Under the old ordinal system, the placings for ice dancers Krylova and Ovsyannikov and Anasina Pisarat would have been calculated like this. Since both Krylova and Ovsyannikov and Anasina Pisarat had the same number of first places, 4, the tiebreaker would have come down to the second places. Krylova Ovsyannikov have 3, while Anasina Pisarat have 4. Last year, this would have been good enough for Anasina Pisarat to win. However, because one-by-one judging is in effect this year, look what happens when you compare the two teams on a one-by-one basis. Judges number 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9 had Krylova Ovsyannikov ahead of Anasina Pisarat, giving them a total of 5 wins. In comparison, only judges number 3, 4, 5, and 6 have Anasina Pisarat ahead of Krylova Ovsyannikov, giving them just 4 wins. Under one-by-one judging, Krylova Ovsyannikov win. Is this system any more fair or better than the other system? Well, for Anasina Pisarat, it didn't work out this time.
And Judy, we should point out, this rule was introduced to combat collusion between the judges to place skaters in certain positions, such as we saw alleged at the Nagano Olympic Games a year ago.
Back at the European Championships in Prague, we turn now to the ladies. Free skate, the standings after the short program. Reigning champion Maria Butirskaya of Russia leads. In fact, it's a Russian sweep thus far. Victoria Volchkova in second and Yulia Soldatova in third. And here she is, the 1998 junior world champion and silver medalist at the Russian National Championships that same year. This is Yulia Soldatova.
Very close attempt to the triple sow, triple toe-lip combination. A lot of these girls now looking to the World Championships are going to be trying these difficult triple-triple combinations, and they must do them. Nice triple Lutz, double toe.
She reminds me a little, Chris, of her training mate, Maria Butirskaya. It must help her training with her, pushing the jumps, trying to move quickly over the ice, and with her power and style.
But Judy, when you spend so much time with another teammate training, these little things have ways of showing up and rubbing off on each other. But I look at her as somebody who really relies on more skating speed and athleticism than real technique to keep these jumps and a lot of the technical elements that is the glue that holds this all together.
Just 17 years of age, from Moscow.
Triple flip jump. Look, they had a little bit of a 2-foot landing.
Perhaps as important as a possible medal in these European Championships, Yulia is battling with her teammate Victoria Volchkova for a spot on the Russian team for the World Championships coming up in Helsinki.
Even that double axel almost appeared that she had stepped out of it.
She doesn't hold those landings quite long enough to be clear and clean.
Bit of a late takeoff there. You saw a little bit of hesitation at the start of that triple Lutz jump. Pulls it off cleanly.
What I find interesting is that she was only the junior world champion in 1998. So we see these faces so quickly after they were in the junior ranks. They haven't developed yet. And a miss like that is going to just take a little more experience and confidence.
Russia has long dominated these European Championships. In fact, Russia has won the World Junior Championships in the ladies division again in 1999. So the line continues.
She has a great youthful appearance, athletic. The program needs to draw the audience in. Technical difficulty for her is impressive, but the artistic side, can we see even more from that in the future?
17-year-old Yulia Soldatova from Moscow. Maybe just a tinge of relief in that smile.
Now here she's setting up for the triple Salchow. This is an example of what I was talking about. She tries to get around that last little bit of rotation, does not really reach up to put her hands out for balance.
And the coach beside her is Vladimir Kotin, who was quite an inventive and innovative skater in his own right.
Saw the marks for technical merit. Here are the presentation scores from a low of 5.3 to a high of 5.7. Quite a range for Yulia Soldatova. And not only are she, and continue with the ladies' free skate portion of these European Figure Skating Championships. Bob Varsha along with Judy Blumberg and Christopher Bowman. Glad to have you with us. From Hungary, this is Diana Poth.
For the great triple toe combination. Great flow and speed on the exit, the second jump, the landing.
solid jump. She stood sixth after the short program, and she and her fellow Hungarian Julia Sebastian have made a bit of a splash at these championships. It's been a long time since Hungary achieved success at the elite skating level.
Chris, I remember the spinning of Kristina Zako a couple years ago, and now we have a great jumper from Hungary. It's nice to see the new young faces come up.
It was a double attempt at the triple loop jump. A little bit rushed on the takeoff, could not really get it straightened out in the air.
Another 17-year-old from another city on the Danube, Budapest.
Double flip jump, another attempted triple.
Hopefully, Diana will use this competition as a springboard to really vault herself into the international and the world community of figure skating, to really improve upon and grow into her skating, because she is 17, but she hasn't had much exposure.
There's not as many competitions available to the Europeans as there are to the skaters in the West. This is definitely a big stepping stone for her, much like the Junior World Championships. They can really catapult these skaters to the top of the world scene. Height and cleanliness on that landing. These last few elements are the things that the judges are going to remember most about the performance.
This is a spin that Rudy Galindo showed us several years ago. Diana also does it very well.
Choreography in the steps, not terribly difficult. Her skating is not quite to be as strong as Soldatova. But as you can see, the athleticism is still there. Very nice double axel.
And what a beautiful outside camel. Great position through the body and on the ice.
And you can tell she is happy with it. Skating to the familiar strains of Gone with the Wind, Diana Poth of Hungary is one very happy skater.
Packaging for this young woman is going to become a critical component in the next few years.
This is where Soldatova had problems with the triple-triple. Look how she keeps both jumps equal height for added control. Beautiful landing. Once again, the spin that Judy talked about. Split upright. Becoming more and more popular with these ladies.
And here are the scores for young Diana Poth. And more whistles from 5-3 to 5-6 for technical merit. And we'll check the presentation scores from a 5-2 from an Australian judge to a 5-7 from the judge representing her native Hungary. So a good effort for Diana Poth. We'll have back in Prague, now on the ice, the leader after the 2-minute short program, ready for her heavily weighted 4-minute free skate. This is the reigning European champion, Maria Butirskaya of Russia. To a Concerto by Raoul de Blasio.
Setting up for the very difficult triple Lutz jump. Landing up the triple flip jump, almost got a little bit away from her. Looked like he had a little bit of a touchdown too with the free foot, and that is a deduction. With the three ladies that we've seen so far, Maria by far has the most confidence, the best all-around package, the athleticism, the beauty, the style, the grace, the choreography, the theme, and the maturity to back it all up. Great triple Saukow, into triple toe loop, very exciting and good speed on the landing.
Hoping to become the fourth Russian woman to take the ladies' title at these European Championships. Such is the competition among the Russians that the woman who won the '96 title and the 1998 silver medal at the World Championships, Butirskaya, is not even here. She was fourth at her national championships.
Just barely squeaks out that double toe loop on the triple loop jump for a combination. It's a matter of little points, tenths of points that add up.
And it seems to me, although she's skating very well and she's quite nice to watch, she really doesn't compare to what we see in Michelle Kwan. She'll compete with her, but I don't think she can hold a candle to the confidence, the composure, and just the commitment that Michelle has when she's out there. She is flawless, and I see slight things in Maria's, right like that, coming out of the jump. It's just not smooth, little small mistakes.
But she recovers well. This is something that comes from maturity and experience, Judy. She recovers well. She keeps the performance going, where a lot of the younger girls might fall into a psychological thing with little mistakes like that. The overall total package is what these girls are being judged on the most. Hopefully this kind of thing will pan out for big dividends once they reach the World Championships. Triple loop jump now by itself.
These are the kind of misses that she can't afford to have at the World Championships in March in Helsinki, Finland, especially against the likes of Michelle Kwan, who is so, I must repeat, is so confident.
And consistent.
Yes.
It's consistency.
Maria's been quoted as saying she has yet to put together a complete short and free skate program at the World Championship level. She hopes to do that this year in Helsinki, an event you'll see here on ESPN as well as ABC Sports.
I think it's the best I've seen her skate in a while, and it's a shame that at the end she started to fall apart. And if she can just keep her nerves and her head together, she can put out that performance. She can.
The leader after the short program, Maria Butirskaya, seems happy with her performance, but there were a few small faults that may leave the door open.
And then there was also a lot of strengths. Look at this triple loop jump into double toe loop. She is a little tilted in the air, but a great clean landing. Some of the smaller items in the program, the easier content, I think she took a little bit for granted. She's got to be careful of that because that's when silly mistakes can creep in and really sabotage a great performance.
Here are the technical merit scores and more whistles. A 5-4 from the Canadian judge, a 5-8 from the Swiss, the low and the high. And the presentation scores. Very strong. 5/8s and 5/9s all the way across. That will make Maria Butirskaya very hard to beat. Coming up later, the pairs European Championships. Up now, second after the short program, making her bid for gold from Russia, Victoria Volchkova.
Nice triple loop jump.
Oh my, the same music as Diana Poth. As I said, I feel like I'm looking at very fine junior level skaters that haven't yet matured into the senior level. Maria Butirskaya is the one that's had the experience. She's jumping magnificently.
Tremendous height on that triple Lutz combination.
But I'm not sure, again, about the selection of music and the packaging with the choreography and the program. We'll see how it develops, though.
I'm all about performance and themes and bringing an audience into a performance. Maria did not use a theme, but there's something about her skating that is compelling. These girls need to find their area of real dominance and work that.
Two-time bronze medalist at the World Junior Championship level, including 1999.
I'm really impressed, though, Chris, with the technique that she has on these jumps. She gets great distance. She's very tight in the air, and nice free leg action on the landing.
Well, let's face the music. What is it about Gone with the Wind that makes it so popular for skating performance?
I think it's a piece that is American classic, something that they can identify in a global way.
It's very big music, but sometimes the music overshadows your skating, and you have to be a very big, powerful mover for it to work.
Just 16 years of age. St. Petersburg in Russia. Listed as 5 feet 4 inches tall, but she looks much taller on the ice to me.
Remember, those skates add a couple inches to your height.
See, Judy, once again, they do this incredible triple Lutz jump, incredible triple flip, and then miss a triple Salchow. A very, very basic mistake on an easy triple jump. And a singled out attempt at the double axel. She tries to go for it again.
That's
losing.
Experience.
Tremendous speed loss.
I think she was too anxious to get it in there, and it shows a little lack of experience. And she just, I wonder about her training. Doesn't look like she's trained the program. When you start balking on jumps, simple jumps for her, I'm sure.
The wheels come off, and it becomes a personal thing where it's a game of catch-up, just trying to get jumps in. The audience and the judges can't really identify with that. They want to see skating. They want to see performing. Mistakes are okay. The World Championships, the European Championships are won with mistakes.
I think that sidelong glimpse at the camera told you everything you need to know about how Victoria Volchkova feels about that performance.
And this is where the inexperience really comes in to play. Watch this. Incredible triple Lutz jump, one of the most difficult jumps in figure skating. Combined with double toe, there is not anything better than that in this entire competition. But then watch. A double axel. the most juvenile of jumps, Waxel, as is commonly known as the wackiest of all axels.
Well, let's see what the judges think of it. Technical merit scores, a 5-1 from the judge from the Netherlands, a high of 5-5. And the presentation scores, a 5-3 to a 5-5. So that will knock her out of the silver medal position, but she remains on the podium as we take a look at the final results. Maria Butirskaya leads a Russian sweep of the podium, while Yulia Sebastian, we talked about the Hungarians, with the second best free skate, jumps from 11th to 6th. We'll be back.